3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular. Mystery reading at number 1156. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting the subscribe button down below, and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. If you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome. And thank you very much for your support in helping me reach 300 subscribers at this time, as well as your presence during this reading. So I find it interesting that as soon as I start talking again just now, I saw the number 1, 2, 3 on the timer, which is a sign about trusting that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in the order that is meant to for a reason. It gives this feeling that something is unfolding in a way like puzzle pieces are being put together or things are falling into place. It's like making me think like if you feel like things are starting to fall into place for you or things have fallen into place for you, before things fell into place, do you see any similar patterns that you saw when things did fall into place? You know, just the way that things aligned, the way that things came together, or the way that things fell apart. Something here doesn't feel like a coincidence. I do want to acknowledge those of you who do feel led by a sense of purpose, and you just feel like you're having to move forward in life with a lot of courage and learning how to be the calm within a storm. I don't doubt that whatever you're doing matters and is powerful and impactful and valuable for whatever it's worth. Moving into interpreting the number 1156. This number has 2 1s in it, and the number 1 for me is usually about, having trust and faith in your intuition, your strength, and what is possible for you. I'm really getting this feeling that something requires for you to have a lot of faith and a lot of trust, but it's not blind. In fact, I think that the trust and the faith is a source of your strength. Why it's easier for you to be courageous and to, even if you feel fear, to move forward anyway. The mind is a very, very powerful thing. That's why it's so important that all of us are mindful and consciously aware of what we are thinking, feeling, and believing, and making sure that we're not manifesting more darkness into our lives or the lives of others because of an overflow of darkness within us. And now I'm seeing the word release on an index card that I saw earlier. which, really tells me that there is some darkness here that you are holding on to, or that you're working through, that does need to be released, let go, transmuted. Talking about darkness in particular. How can you change your perspective to turn it into light? I used to, it was helpful at one point, but I guess maybe it's kind of more automatic for me now. But I used to, whenever I consciously recognized that a thought was not helpful, it was fakeness or hopelessness or just distrusting of myself, of the universe, tell yourself the opposite and see how it makes you feel. I did see the number 543 on the timer, which is a sign about trusting that everything happens for a reason. It's the second time that we have seen a message like that. There is a reason that our thoughts are so powerful that they decide what we manifest, what we create, the kind of battle we choose to fight. This reminds me of the number 6, actually, in 1056. So let's go ahead and move on to the number 5, which is about change and transformation. So you could be going through a personal transformation, something in your life could be transforming, or maybe, these changes happened already or they will happen. It really just depends on where you're at, but it's important to be open to change. Just the idea of it. Knowing that change is the only constant in life, for me, has helped me realize that I need to shift my perspective from life is about being comfortable to life is about having the courage to be uncomfortable. And of course, as a human being, a living being on this planet, of course, it's natural to desire comfort. It's a natural to not want to be uncomfortable, to not want to be afraid. You're just trying to survive. But that part of our human side, it feels like something needs to evolve. Evolve or repeat. For some reason, I am feeling connected to the Uvalde school, maybe the school shooting, but I'm not sure why I'm feeling connected to that. I mean, as an American, it definitely feels significant. There's something here about, it's very specific, there's something here about school shootings repeating themselves. There's something that's going on that needs to be addressed, or maybe all of us collectively in this country need to show up differently to stop what's happening inside of schools. And this could even be international too. I'm just saying from my perspective as an American, so only take what resonates, and you don't even have to be in a country where school shootings are unfortunately a thing for them to still have a significant meaning for you. That's quite a heavy topic. I'm not gonna lie, it's quite a heavy subject, and I personally believe that we need to pay attention, because I don't believe, me personally, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me crazy, I don't think school shootings are a coincidence. In fact, I think they're manufactured. So, want to go resonance, but what I was saying with the number 5. Embrace change. Accept change into your life. Because actually when we do that, it helps us have a better relationship with change. I think it's actually important for us to not be afraid of change or to be uncomfortable, but to just still be willing to move forward despite the discomfort or the fear. In other words, have more courage. And I don't want anyone to feel like they're not enough or they're not doing enough. You know, historically things are only going in the way that they've always been meant to go. You know. So be patient and kind to yourself. But so recognize the part that you play in what's going on a bigger scale. No matter what country you are in, you got to pay attention if you're already doing that. Spiritually, I think you're on the right track. But moving on to the number 6. This number is about encouraging you to choose self-love, to choose self-care, rather than hating or resenting yourself or destroying yourself. And this encouragement is here because whether you choose to love or hate yourself, to care for or destroy yourself, will be projected into whether you choose to care for or destroy your environment, other people, whether you choose to spread love or to spread hate. The relationship with yourself is so important. It's so important for it to be healthy, honest, to have boundaries. You know, being willing to tell yourself no, to have discipline. There could be something significant here about hypocrisy, but not in a I'm attacking you kind of way. It's like there may be something here that you're frustrated about that other people do or say, and you might not be consciously aware that you also do and say the same thing because of your resentment. Adding up these numbers, 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 5 is 7, 7 plus 6 is 13, and this number is about good luck and good fortune, which is, I think, is a really nice message to come through, because I'm not gonna lie, we've kind of hit some heavy, uncomfortable topics here, which I think is fitting, but number 13 also is connected to ancestors and stability. So this number 13 could be about you know, your luck changing, getting your karma improving. It could be just about that, or it could also be about something that's happening at home, significantly improving, things getting better, or at work, or anything that is tied to your sense of stability. But it feels like to see positive change in your external reality, you first have to create positive change within your internal reality. I just feel like if you allow yourself to move forward with honesty and courage, it's going to pay off in a powerful, very much worth it kind of way. And I want to point out here that even though, like, when we feel fear, oftentimes our fear can exaggerate the danger or the discomfort. So could be important here for you to reflect on whether your fear is trying to limit you or if it's genuinely trying to protect you. Are you afraid of what you don't know and it's limiting you? Or Are you recognizing a pattern? Are you seeing something you've seen before and you know where things are headed and that scares you? Overall, this number, 1156, has been encouraging you to have more trust and more faith in yourself, in the universe, your intuition, your strength. Whatever you're going through right now, trust that you are going through it for a reason. You're being called to learn from it, to grow from it, to teach and share from it. There's something important here about change. Not only maybe some changes you're experiencing within you, outside of you, or could be experiencing, but also just your relationship with change in general, and your willingness to be afraid and to be uncomfortable and to have courage. There's also been messages here encouraging you to love and care for and respect yourself, your worth, and what you deserve, not only for yourself, but also for those around you, in a bigger battle that you choose to fight between good and evil. We can inflict evil upon ourselves by treating ourselves in ways that are wrong, that we know are wrong. In my opinion, that is a form of evil. But there's definitely been a silver lining in this number, with the idea of your luck improving, maybe getting more money, more resources, more, things becoming more fortunate for you. And this could be tied to past loved ones and your sense of stability, or it could stand alone. But it is a silver lining. And it's something that I feel will make improving your relationship with change, with yourself, and even with the universe, very much worth it. So you can see that there are a couple of decks of cards on this table in front of you. And this is the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot cards, and these here are index cards that I made and wrote on myself with things that I just felt called to write. And I'm going to start with drawing out 2 of these tarot cards to get more detail into what messages you need right now. Whether they're related to what we already talked about with the number 1156 or not. The first card we have is the Ten of Swords. It says loss, painful ending, grief, and heavy emotions. I think I'm going to pull all of these cards actually, and then I'll talk about them. The next card is Justice here. It says a search for truth, new perspectives, think through decisions. Bats might be a significant spirit animal for you. Bats feel like they are connected to somebody who really is needing to have a lot of courage right now, so they can have a powerful impact in some way. Maybe there's something here about public speaking for you, but I also felt connected to the word or the card, the tarot card Judgment, when I saw this Justice card. Let's get one of these index cards now. This card says, I have so many questions. So it definitely seems like you, or somebody you know, maybe somebody you don't know, is very curious about something. Seeing this Ten of Swords immediately made me think about whenever I was connected to the word release from that index card that I mentioned earlier. It also aligns really well with the idea of a change that is very, very uncomfortable and could be very scary as well. Whatever the change is, or was, or will be, is absolutely not easy. But because of this Justice card here, it is absolutely fair. And it does feel like the right thing to do. I find it interesting here that we have heavy emotions, grief, pain, and then search for truth, new perspectives. It definitely feels like you could really, really benefit from reflecting on how you are feeling or how you will feel, and to use this pain, the grief, the heavy emotions to empower you rather than disempower you, to spread love instead of hate, to inspire you to make a difference, to spread more light, more awareness, more information, especially in a day and age where it feels like we are in an information war. We could absolutely use a lot more people who are willing to spread the truth. And I'm thinking about something that I learned recently, literally yesterday, is how there are significant figures in history who were targeted for telling the truth. I just saw the number 234, which is another sign and trust that everything happens for a reason. You may have felt like a target while you were growing up, by certain people while you're an adult, or even by the system. That's because you really do have something valuable to add, to offer, to do here. Again, feeling connected to public speaking over here because Jack Skellington is standing at a podium. If this is you who has so many questions, I feel like you're going to find a lot of your answers in whatever truth or perspectives you find in your own feelings, your own grief. This one says something to teach you and to teach others. And I saw another sign to trust that everything happens for a reason with number 3, 4, 5. There's a certain belief system where people believe that suffering and dying are part of some divine plan. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or if I'm not misinformed, it's the Jews. We'll say the real ones. I don't know why I'm pointing that out, but whenever I learned about it, I was like, I believe that. Pain and suffering and death, all things painful and difficult, are part of something bigger. There's something definitely to learn. And the reason why I noticed that myself is because I personally believe that all religions, if you don't already know this about me, I believe that all religions have truth, that all of them, probably, maybe most of them, we'll see, they also have lies. And it's up to us to discern what is real, what isn't, what is true. and what is a lie. And I hope that one day all of us can collectively come together with our differences and use them to put the puzzle pieces together instead of to fight each other. Maybe to some degree we're all right, but also to some degree we're all wrong. Give me a second to think here. I really do feel like I am connecting to someone who definitely has influence, maybe a platform, and they're using your voice with something that you're going through that's very painful. It matters a lot. Don't be afraid. I mean, it's okay to be afraid, but don't be afraid to have, don't be so afraid. How do I put this? Allow yourself to have the courage to share your story. Whatever sacrifice you could be making, it's worth it. Or maybe that's something you want to determine for yourself. Is it worth it or is it not worth it? And I did forget to mention the numbers that are on these cards here, starting with the 10 of Swords. I was just feeling connected to the 10 of Pentacles, which is about legacy, wealth, even just long-term material stability. But the 10 is connected to spirit guides in general. We've already talked about ancestors, but other spirit guides as well want you to know that they are present here with you. And they are encouraging you to have trust and faith, to keep believing in whatever you have such a strong faith in. Maybe you are part of some sort of unraveling or unfolding. The Justice card has the number 11 on it, and 1 + 1 is 2, which can be confirmation of a significant relationship or situation on your mind, or that this reading has been about. It can also be confirmation or guidance for you to be very wise with your decisions right now. It may be important for you to not rush through anything. Actually, this card does say think through decisions, use your voice, but use it wisely. If you are trying to not express yourself from a place of ego or vengeance, if that's the right word, I feel that is partially what's keeping you protected. Because you're not trying to fan the flame. You know what I mean? You play stupid games, win stupid prizes kind of thing. But, number 2 is encouragement to protect, I want to say like assets, resources, wealth, but to protect your peace as well, your investments, emotional and physical, especially if you are feeling like a target on a bigger scale. I do want to touch on this Justice card again. For somebody who does feel like they are trying to, create more justice, get more answers, I encourage you to keep seeking out the truth and to keep spreading it as well. Overall, this reading has been encouraging you to have trust and faith, to find courage for change, and to make sure you are loving, respecting, and caring for yourself in the process. Know that something good, lucky, or fortunate is going to come out of this. And there's extra confirmation there for somebody who maybe there's something here about relationship dynamics with people that you're close with, family members, something going on at home, like I said before, anything to do with your sense of stability, past loved ones, your ancestors. Whether it's related to your stability at home, at work, or whatever or not, they are supporting you in the truth that you are seeking and spreading. And I did see the number 122 on the timer, which for me is about change, is starting with you. And I feel like that just is, it really fits in well to this reading because of how much we have talked about change and having courage through change. Your courage, I feel, is going to pay off. The cards on the table are showing me here that there is a very painful ending, painful loss, something that was long-term, and this could be a relationship or some other situation, and it's, creating a lot of grief, a lot of heavy emotions. And while heavy and painful and difficult and challenging, there's a lot of truth in what you're feeling, a lot to discover, to learn, to experience, to express. And I just saw another sign of trust that everything happens for a reason. Think through your decisions, and funny enough, when I said that, I saw a sign about a warning about being coerced or manipulated into a vulnerable position, or a vulnerable position that you're already in, being taken advantage of. So it feels like thinking through your decisions will help make you less vulnerable, or at least feel less vulnerable and more in control. This could help with your mindset. Like I said before, if you are seeking truth and willing to spread it when you find it, keep asking questions. Especially because I just saw another sign about trusting that everything certainly does happen for a reason.